Teboer. I'm the founder of the Young Africa Vision. Welcome to this episode of Young Africa Today. I'm very excited to be introducing you to the first person I will be interviewing on Young Africa Today. And it is really perfect that this first individual is somebody who has a very strong passion for developing entrepreneurs. May I introduce you to Brennan Williams from the Global Enterprise Academy in South Africa. Over to you, Brennan.
Pleasure to be here. Lovely to talk to you. I'm a business mentor, and I run a company called the Global Enterprise Academy South Africa, and our goal is to make South Africa a more entrepreneurial place. And we do that through a virtual meeting with entrepreneurs in various programs I work with, and these include entrepreneurs from all over the country, and we do it all in WhatsApp, which is kind of special. We spend a few years developing the program, finding that entrepreneurship is not an academic exercise. If academia could produce entrepreneurs, universities would print entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs don't learn like students, and that's kind of the core of what our business is based on.
That sounds very interesting. I had a look at your website, and there's a couple of very interesting ideas. I was actually just changing the browser on my laptop to show our viewers your website and to show some of the key messages that you have on there. And I'm just going to read two of them. And the first one is breaking entrepreneurial barriers. And the second one is entrepreneurs are neither born nor made. They innovate their own existence. Now, this is a very interesting statement. Can you maybe talk to us a little bit more about that? What do you mean if you say that entrepreneurs are neither born nor made? They innovate their own existence.
Okay, so this is about, let's start our conversation and base it on one premise, creativity, right?
Okay.
One can create and be an artist, be Leonardo da Vinci. But Leonardo never created a business. So the ability, so we've got creativity on the one side, the artistic creativity, the artistic kind of thinking that one goes through, that creates beautiful art objects or wonderful things. And then we've got innovation, and innovation is by definition, is the taking of that idea to market, implementing it within some place. So we saw, let's look at the light bulb. We all know that Edison is supposed to have invented the light bulb. He didn't. He innovated the light bulb. A guy called Robert Swan invented the light bulb and never innovated. He didn't take it to market. Edison took it to market. So entrepreneurs innovate their own existence. And there's a fine line between being an entrepreneur and being a manager. So you can be a manager at a pet spa, a McDonald's, a BP garage, or whatever these franchises are, but you didn't innovate that business. You didn't create it. And entrepreneurs kind of, even I, slip out of, and even Branson and Bezos and all these chaps on their race to space, they slip in and out of entrepreneurial behavior all the time. They innovate the idea, I'm going to put up all of these thousands of satellites into orbit, which are going to provide the world with internet access, universal internet access, as per Elon Musk. But at the same time, then he falls back out of the entrepreneurship and goes to innovate that, and that is his innovation. The moment we stop innovating, we become managers. And therefore, that's why I'm saying that entrepreneurs innovate their own existence. So your continual changing of ideas, your new website, your new YouTube channel, these are innovations. That's entrepreneurship.
Okay, well, I love that definition. I think that makes a lot of sense. I also have a very strong belief that we need to grow more entrepreneurs. So, and I also believe that absolutely some people have certain skills, that make it easier for them to become entrepreneurial. Others don't have those skills, but I firmly believe that one can learn practically any skill if you, if you have the right guidance and the right knowledge and the right mindset. So, in your academy, in your global academy, I just want to go back to your website. Just a moment. I just want to quickly. I think I actually skipped away from it, but I'm just going to look for it quickly. There we go. Okay, so you're calling your business the Global Enterprise Academy, and at this point in time, you are focusing on South Africa. Now, you know that I am very much interested in young Africa, and maybe before we move into asking you more questions about your Global Enterprise Academy, may I just quickly tell our viewers that you and I don't know each other at all.
First time we've seen each other, and beyond setting up this meeting, it's the first time we've spoken, really.
Exactly. And so what I wanted to ask you is, before we continue, is that, and I just want to tell viewers that we actually connected on LinkedIn. And I wanted to ask you, because I believe that you invited me, and was curious to know, what is it that you thought would be interesting about connecting to me?
Well, you're interested in youth, you're interested in entrepreneurship. Um, one of we did say a moment ago that entrepreneurs innovate their own existence. And part of the creative process is collecting information. So the more ideas that you'll be kind of doing something weird. So let's say you're doing the laundry, and you go through the same process in the same way as your grandmother and mother did it. And then something happens and you collect another little piece of information which makes your laundry fresher or faster or dries quicker or has less ironing or whatever, right? So the more information one can collect and the more people you know, because that is a source of information, the more you read, the more these information, by loading yourself with that information, and some of it's completely useless, right? But your subconscious mind automatically works on problem solving. It's the way it's built.
Okay, great. So basically,
So you leave it. Your mind will come up with an idea eventually, and it needs information to do that. So that's kind of like why, and networking is great. It's one of the entrepreneurial competencies that we talk about within our E-Factor framework.
okay. You were interested in the fact that I am working with youth and that I also have a passion for entrepreneurship. Okay, wonderful. Very nice. Well, I also looking at your profile on LinkedIn, I also thought this guy seems to know a lot about entrepreneurship, and I am also very much like you, somebody who believes in collaboration and in sort of, two brains are better than one, and millions of brains are better together. And I know that if we are going to make a difference here in Africa, we have to find like-minded people. And so I'm very excited about inviting you to talk about what it is that you are doing, because I believe that we are very much aligned in thinking around developing entrepreneurs. So thank you very much for the connection. Let me just ask you now, can you tell us exactly what does your Global Academy do? How do you work? What is it that you do?
Let me tell you how it happened. I started looking at entrepreneurship development in South Africa and actually around Africa some years ago, 8 years ago. And there are a number of challenges. Number one is that our system does not teach entrepreneurs in the way that they learn best. Entrepreneurs need to remain at work. It's rather like swimming or riding a bicycle.
Yes.
You can't learn unless you get on the bike or you start swimming, right? If I give you a book and try and teach you entrepreneurship, you know theory. Theory about swimming just means you're going to splutter and sink to the bottom. So you need to you need to do. So there's a challenge with this academic curriculum approach to entrepreneurship. Number two, the second problem is 68% of our incubators are based in the big urban areas like Sandton in Johannesburg. Now that's a problem because Africa is a big place. It's big. It's bigger than the United States. It's a huge area. It's got millions of people. We're not reaching the entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So, for example, only 3.5% of South Africa's population has an established business. This is according to the GEM, the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. Our neighbors and international averages are kind of 7.9 to 8.3%. That means we're missing 4% plus of our entrepreneurial capacity here in South Africa.
That is a very significant
Those guys
statistic.
need to be reached. So I kind of was working on virtual incubation as a solution, and I tried Facebook, and I tried LinkedIn, and I tried the Microsoft Teams and Zoom like we're doing now. And I tried these type of things, and I found that they were difficult. And eventually I settled on, strangely enough, the multimedia WhatsApp instant messaging system. People fall in love on WhatsApp. People, we communicate as families on WhatsApp. It's multimedia capable. I can send videos, books, photos. People can send me stories. I can have a call with 4 or 5 people. I can put 5,000 up to 5,000 people in a group. So I started experimenting with this, and then a guy called Professor David Gibson, who won an OBE, an Order of the British Empire, which is kind of a civilian award, invited me from the UK to become one of 100 founder members around the world to establish the Global Enterprise Academy. That's where our name comes from. I don't like the name Academy, but it's kind of like, yeah, we've got that. So now we have the world's best entrepreneurial development program, plus a means to be able to solve the reach problem in Africa. There's also a cost problem. It costs a lot of money to mentor people and have a business incubator and take them out of work. So it costs money you spend, and if somebody comes to a lesson once a week, that's a 20% tax on that time. That's kind of pretty heavy for a small entrepreneur who's doing 1,500 Rand or 3, maybe 4, 5,000 Rand a week. That's a lot of money to lose, right? 20% of your income, that's pretty rough. But having one of those smart machines in your pocket means that you have 2 things. You have access to information, you have access to somebody with experience, and you have access to the E factor. Now I'm going to explain the E factor in a moment. When we were talking about entrepreneurs innovating their own existence, there's a certain set of behaviors which Professor Gibson defined. 8 factors. One of them is creativity. Another one is kind of financial acumen, your ability to network, your ability to influence and negotiate with other people. And there are certain tricks, tiny little tricks, like how do you negotiate? What's the best way? What are the basic role play type of things that you can do in order to do these things? How do you network? Who do you network with? Just randomly networking with the world isn't going to help you. But a focused approach to people who are interested in the same thing as you want, which is why I've connected with so many people, because my goal at GEA is to make Africa or South Africa a more entrepreneurial place. People are come and kind of connect to me. Hey, Brennan, I like that. I want to be part of that. So networking with the right people presents opportunities like UNISA coming to us and saying, hi, we'd like to partner with you. These type of things happen because you behave in a certain way. Not because you've got an MBA, not because you've done your chartered accountancy, not because you've got some degree or whatever, not because of that, but because of the way you behave and the way you present yourself. Don't forget, Branson practically dropped out of school, right?
Yes. Very, very interesting. So could you maybe tell our viewers Um, what is it that you offer to somebody who would like to learn from you? And how do they make contact with you? And what is it? What is the process that you take people through that want to learn from you?
Okay, so we've got two kind of streams of offering, but doing exactly the same thing. One is to the entrepreneurs in general, and we'd like to encourage them to join the incubator programs that the organizations like the National Business Initiative have launched along with their partner incubators. Then, so we've got that kind of like national development thing going on. Then we've got something else which is interesting, which is organizational entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurial activity within organizations makes them more competitive. The most competitive nations in the world, Finland and I can't remember offhand, but the most competitive nations in the world, at the top of that list, are the nations with the highest levels of entrepreneurial employee activity.
That's very significant. That's a very important point.
Yeah, very. It makes a huge point. The guys who do that type of thing, who become entrepreneurs in companies, don't risk their own money, get all the reward, get a pension, and they have fun being an entrepreneur at the same time without having to worry about, am I going to lose and wake up without a job in the morning? Can I pay their salary? Somebody else does that. So isn't that nice? So, and our program going into an organization or into a group helps to solve the problems. Perhaps I can explain how it works. You as the entrepreneur join the program. I ask you, please, Ronald, can you give me one goal that you want to solve in the next, whatever, 6 to 8 weeks? And you might say, I'd like to build my listening audience, or I'd like to design a new product, or I'd like to launch a new product, even better. You don't learn until you launch, by the way.
Yes.
You just don't. It's all theory, right? Back in the in the realms of academia, you've got to get on the bicycle or in the water and swim or ride, or you won't learn. So, and because entrepreneurs remain at work, they're in the classroom. The classroom is the work is the classroom. So we set that one goal, and then we go through each of those thinking processes one at a time, and help you to consider what you're going to do. And action counts much louder than words because it's going to make you money, it's going to keep you fed, it's going to make your business work, or you're going to find out I better pivot to something else quickly to change direction. So that's kind of how it works.
Okay. So what is the process and what is the, of applying to work? Was there an application process or is there, how does the onboarding happen? And is there any cost involved? What is the cost involved?
Okay, so I've been working usually for the since 2019. We launched our pilot alpha testing with the University of Johannesburg's Center for Entrepreneurship. 2018, 19, 20. We're looking at 21, starting a new cohort. And I also work with other national incubators. So individuals usually apply through those incubators and will connect eventually to me if they're on the right program. In terms of companies, just phone me up and we can talk. It's not expensive. It's very cheap, very fast, very effective. Just to give you an idea of how effective it is, last year when COVID struck, the small business chambers in South Africa reported that only 13% of SMMEs had maintained stable turnover. The cohort, and it was about 60 people at UJ, the University of Johannesburg Center for Entrepreneurship, on their small business enrichment program. 17% of those participants reported stable turnover. 17% reported growing turnover, and about 6-point-something% reported exponential growth. That's 350% better than the national average. You've got to think smart to be an entrepreneur. And unless you know that framework to work in, you won't, and don't forget, South Africa and Africa in general has been ignored by the world, and we've got some fantastic entrepreneurs.
Yes.
But we don't have many role models out in the rural, out in the townships. Only 14% of incubators are based in townships. I can reach anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, anytime, anywhere, like cheap. And it's really with a very, very simple approach. It doesn't eliminate the normal incubation, and you will find out kind of like, okay, I need to know more about my financial acumen being the favorite weakness of most of our entrepreneurs. Like, unless you're a chartered accountant and you can rock your calculator, most of us, and I've done advanced statistics and at master's level, and I still struggle with mathematics. You will find out where the best place for you to learn with the quickest results, kind of like the low-hanging fruit, by knowing your own personality, know thyself, blah, blah, blah. What was that quote?
Yes.
If you know more about yourself, you're able to improve yourself. The more self-knowledge you have, the more awareness you have, you can direct your growth towards being a better entrepreneur and help me make South Africa and Africa a more entrepreneurial place.
That sounds really, really great. So basically what you're saying is that you are working with the University of Johannesburg. You are also working with other entities that have incubation hubs, and you are literally assisting the entrepreneurs that they want to support by working with them through these institutions. So does that mean that that potential, people who are listening to this program, does that mean that they should make contact with the University of Johannesburg's program, or?
There are enough people. We can do some kind of program for them at very, very low cost, kind of like, I don't know, 100 rand a person for a 6-week program. I presently work with around about 800 entrepreneurs.
Okay.
This is unheard of, right?
Yes,
It's unheard of. Like,
very...
everybody looks at me and goes, yeah, right.
I believe
There's
you.
another one. But really, they're in my phone.
Okay.
WhatsApp is really short.
Yes.
It's quick. Sometimes it's just a cut and paste. It's like forward this message to that other person because they've asked the same question. Rather than working with 40 entrepreneurs at a time, which is generally the max for a business mentor in any incubator.
I don't know if you know how many of the Young Africa Today episodes you have had an opportunity to see, and I don't know if you saw the one about the Academy for Young Africa. I also have an academy, and I like the name. And so my first program is a leadership and entrepreneurship program, which is very much laying the foundation through helping the individual to develop themselves through personal leadership, to get a general understanding of business leadership, to understand how community leadership works, and also to understand their role when it comes to global leadership, and how behavior, it's all about behavior and about mindset and so on. So that is
to write up an Excel spreadsheet.
In the business leadership component, there is the course is also very much a learning by doing. So it's also very much around so our philosophy in terms of imparting knowledge is very much the same, which is exciting. But I love the idea of us possibly partnering through the Academy for a Young Africa, working with you and identifying specific entrepreneurs that among the students that I will be onboarding that are ready to move to the next level. And so I think that will be a really great way of disseminating the knowledge that you have to more young people who want to be entrepreneurs across Africa over the next couple of years. So that will be really exciting. So I think that it sounds as if we have a lot of synergies, and I'm really excited about being able to introduce you also to the viewers that are looking at this video, and also just encouraging everybody to visit your website. I will put the website address on the screen so that people can see it, and that they contact you, and you can direct them to whichever incubation program you believe they should reach out to. But it sounds really as if you have enormous experience, a very clear program, and also the global network, which is fantastic. So, so maybe in closing, because we still have a few minutes, I'm just going to ask you, is there one particular thing that you would like to say to encourage somebody who has been dreaming about starting a business? Where do they start? What should they do? Can you have a message for an entrepreneur anywhere in Africa?
I think that the really important part is to start. I've just been reading a book by Dan Norris, I think it was, that said the 7-day launch. And it's kind of like, okay, identify what you're going to, what is the value you're going to solve? Like, I'm going to make hair look more beautiful, right? Let's say that. So it's going to be look more glossy like yours. It's going to be lovely. It's going to make you a more beautiful person. What is the value? Feel better about yourself and your hair. Make the product. Go and identify the people you're going to go and deliver that to, and whether that's spa, or whether that's ladies at beauty salons, or whatever it is, and go and launch, go and start. You won't learn until you launch. It doesn't matter how tiny that, even if it's cupcakes or muffins, go and try. You will learn more by doing muffins than sitting and reading books. I have done MBAs and everything, and pretty much 95% of it wasn't relevant, and I'd been in business for 20 years before that. And I went and I did it as a hobby, really. It was kind of like, yeah, I've heard this has been good for you, and I did it, and it was nice, and there was lots of lovely theory. And I was thinking, how would I apply this in business? And I was thinking, no, it's theory. You've got to go and do something. So my advice is start.
Very, very good. I love that. I actually, the approach of the Academy for Young Africa and the Leadership and Entrepreneurship program is very much that I have put together a list of 18 things that any unemployed youth aged 18 to 24 can do immediately to start making money, and to learn to stop asking for money, but to start making money, and to make that shift in your mind that you don't need to ask anyone for money. You can make money by offering a service or selling a product, and in that way you can start. So I completely agree with you. Start. So thank you very, very much. This was very pleasurable, and I do believe that we should, in a couple of months' time, we should definitely do another interview. I think we'll have to talk offline about our collaboration and start planning that and start putting that into action, so that I can help make your services available to more people across Africa.
That would be wonderful. Thank you very much.
And we forgot to say one last thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that is that you have been nominated for a competition.
Yeah, as part of that learning process that one goes through, I have to learn all the time, and by practicing my pitch, by and the only people I can practice my pitch to are either my clients, which are few and far between because they're big organizations, or alternatively competition. So I entered a competition called X Factor, which is supposed to be the ultimate international entrepreneurial competition, and they get lots of entries from around the world, and I'm apparently in the top 40. So in the next in the 40 finalists, and on the 16th, they've asked me to upload a video to YouTube or something, or on their website. And it would be nice if your listeners and your audience would go to that website and vote for the Global Enterprise Academy and help us to make South Africa and Africa a more entrepreneurial place.
That sounds like a fantastic idea. I will most definitely do so. So, to our viewers, I'm going to add the link on this video so that you can look at it in the meantime. But I will also remind you, is it a one-day voting exercise or how long?
I think it goes over about a week.
Okay.
But they only open the voting on the 16th of August.
All right.
So perhaps you will add that link at the bottom on the 6th. I'll send it to you, right?
Yes, absolutely. I will
get it press in the video.
Yeah, wonderful. I will definitely add it to all my videos and social media efforts during next week. So
Lovely.
I wish you all the best. I hope you win.
It's not about that. It's about having fun and being an entrepreneur.
No, but still, we need some success stories from South Africa and Africa to position our continent out there.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Lovely.
Thank you. What a pleasure.
Okay,
Lovely
thanks.
to talk to you.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.